Hi guys, I'm back. It's a beautiful day here. It's actually warmer than I figured it was going to be. I still got a little bit of cold, so I don't plan on doing a whole lot today, but I set the camera up on my little tripod real quick, and I figured I would at least video myself taking off the carburetor, because I've got a friend who is going to go through that for me and make it look like new, and I don't know, I don't have any of my tools other than just my basic wrench set out here right now, but the barn is right there, so I may walk in and get a couple tools and look at taking that side panel there off on the center console and seeing what all the wiring looks like in there and how much of a job it's going to be to get to and work on. Because as I think I mentioned in my last one, I think I'm just going to redo the whole thing as far as all the wiring goes. Just do it, get it done. It'll be something to kind of, it'll be something that'll keep me busy for a little while I track down a few other parts and save up to make a few, not really bigger purchases, but like all the belts and the chain and everything. I'd like to at least try to get it one time in bulk. That way, instead of spending $20 on this chain here and $20 on this chain there and $30 on this belt here and $40 on this belt here, I can just spend it'd be a bigger amount at once, but it would be a smaller amount if you took all those little amounts and added them up. You know what I mean? It's buying in bulk always seems to save you money, so especially on shipping. So if I can do all the belts and everything at once and just get that all taken care of, then and all the chains at once too, it would help save some money that I could then put into, I don't know, maybe we're probably repairing this and fixing the other side. This one is straight, at least it looks to be straight. It might not be, it might just be how I'm looking at it, but the other side is pretty noticeably bent, so I'll have to figure out how to either bend that back or get it fixed or something. But yeah, so rather than just stand around and talk for the next 5 minutes and stumble over my words, I suppose I'll get up there and try to take that carburetor off, which should be fun because it's right in between the grain tank and the engine, so I'll be kind of sprawled out laying this way, and should be a lot of fun. Take the coat off because it's really not that cold out today. I've still got somewhat of a cold, so I've been trying to not take any chances, but So I have the choke and throttle linkages undone. So now just gonna take my 9/16 here, work those nuts off the top of the carburetor. I said earlier today on a Facebook group I'm a member of that, sorry, you might not be able to hear me. I know I talk kind of quiet sometimes. I said earlier today I'm a member of a Facebook group that on a Facebook group that I'm a member of, I should say, that the plus side of this combine is it's tiny. So storing it and transporting it are easier than, say, a 6600 or something like that. Of course, nobody really restores 6600 or 8820s or anything like that, other than making them, maybe making them look nice for when they use them in the field. Whereas this one, you may actually see some shows. The plus side is it's tiny, but at the same time, the downside is it's tiny. So, like, to get to the carburetor, which just happens to be between the grain tank and the engine, like I already mentioned, you see me up there doing all this weird, and it kind of sucks for a tall guy like me to get there, because I can't stand down here on the ground and get to it. But at the same time, I can't exactly, easily get to it up there. I mean, I understand they put the distributor and everything else on this side, so it's not very easy to get to, and they put the carburetor back there, so it was, I assume, out of the way and didn't clutter up this side too much. But it would have been nice if the carburetor was on this side. But I can't really complain. I mean, I'm sure if it were the other way around, I'd find something to complain about that way. So I'm just thankful I've got the combine and I could work on it at my own pace. So at least there's that. Well, guys, got the main bolts for the carburetor out, so I'll be back in a minute. I'm just gonna run and grab my needle nose, take out one little cotter pin, and then I'll be back. Snap-on needle nose pliers. They aren't anything super special, but at the same time, I love them. I don't really know what it is about them, but they work better than most other needle nose I've ever had. So well, I got the carburetor off, guys. It is a Marvel Shebler SX818, I believe. I think. I don't know, there's a little card. Maybe you could read that. But yeah, it's pretty good and rusty. I mean, it still works, I'm sure, but I'm definitely gonna have it gone through just because, you know, it's I guess I don't want to not do anything with it and go through the ignition system and the wiring like I am, and then get it all back on and go to start it up and find out the carburetor's toast too. Well, I don't want to do that, and I don't want to do a really cheap rebuild on it myself and find out it needs something more. So I'm especially because it's not as easy as a tractor to take off, where it's just you unhook a couple linkages and it pops right off. It's behind the engine, in between the engine and the grain tank, and it takes all that extra time and effort just to get back there to get to it. So I'm going to get this done right the first time. Done, just like with the wiring. That's actually something I learned on that pickup truck. You do it right the first time, it'll be a lot less money in the long run than trying to cobble things together. And I did that. That's some things on that truck that I probably shouldn't have at the time. We had to go back through and redo some of them, so I'm not doing that here. Anyway, I might see you in a bit. I'm gonna maybe take that side panel off and see. So, all right, guys, I am back. It wasn't really too hard to take this side panel off, so I'll climb up and we'll take a quick look inside and see. It's really not, well, I can't say it's not as complicated as I kind of figured it'd be. I had a feeling that you know, little pump and everything would be in there. I knew there'd be some wiring issues up here, but I didn't think it'd be quite, I guess I didn't think there'd be quite as many butt connectors and exposed wires and, you know, who knows what else. So it looks like I am in fact going to be doing a little bit of rewiring. It doesn't look to be too major, but I guess I'd like your opinion on it, folks. What you think I should do and how I should proceed. If I had to like carefully pull out all the gauges and all of the, I'm assuming these in here are solenoids or fuses or something. I don't know. I haven't really looked. Well, no, that might no. I think that's actually. Well, I don't really know what those are, but But you know, if you think I ought to carefully pull out all the gauges and take it all out as one unit and go in and trace it with my wiring diagrams and just more or less make a whole new wiring harness inside, and then bring it back out and put it back in. If I do that, I don't have to worry necessarily about not having enough wire, because I could make it so that there'd be a connector right here, a weather pack connector, and then that weather pack connector, you know, as long as I get all these right, I can just come back out and have the other end of the weather pack connector just connected to the spools of wire, and then just carefully run it down and over and back up and back, and you know, I can just run it back there, and then when I get where I need to go, I can cut it all back off and what's the word? I'd cut it all off, put a weather pack connector back there, and rewire the rear at once. It's all just a matter of wiring. It's I can do it. I can make good connections. I can do all that fairly well. It's just not my strong suit. It's not something that I do on a good daily basis or anything like that. I don't do it very much, so it's not that I'm rusty. It's just that I don't have as much practice as some people who can just eyeball it and go, oh yeah, I got to do this, 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 and this, and this. I got to look at it and follow it with my schematics, and which isn't a bad way to be either. It's not, you know, I don't want to be the kind of guy that just looks at it and thinks, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'd much rather look at the schematics anyway. But that being said, I just want your guys' opinion on what you think I ought to do here. I would like to get the gauges working again and all that, you know, for the obvious reasons of it sure would be nice to be able to monitor my oil pressure and water temperature, and I would like to take that amp gauge there out of the middle and replace it with a voltmeter if I can. I know it'd be changing up the wiring somewhat, but I've heard some nasty things about amp gauges, so it's all just I guess it's personal preference. You know, what would you guys do if you were in my situation? So having said that, I guess that officially concludes this video. So thanks guys, I appreciate you watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll be back soon, hopefully next weekend, although I make you no promises. So anyway, thanks guys, bye.